All Things Unexplained. Hosted by Dr. Mounts.
Let's face it, we were always ready to roll without him anyway.
CJ Derringer.
Ain't nobody perfect, right?
And Smitty Neebs.
I've never planned out hardly anything my whole life. I just freeball.
Featuring Cajun Man.
I'm just old nobody, somebody looking for somebody.
Here's some bonus content with Scottish author Chrissie Heron, author of Headaches and Hauntings. Check it out on Amazon. And of course, another connection I make in my mind with Edinburgh is whiskey, Scottish whiskey.
Yay! Yay! Best in the world. It's only whiskey if it comes from Scotland.
That's right. I can't say
I know the
this
Chinese and other people are trying to do it, but it's just not the same. It's not the same.
No. Well, it definitely won't be Scottish whiskey if it didn't come from Scotland.
I know that because I used to do the marketing for a distillery, the amount of American and Chinese and European tourists that used to come to the distillery is phenomenal. But that's great. It's good to have these kind of cultural things and something to be incredibly proud of in where you live. So yeah, that, salmon, Edinburgh, all the beautiful cities. Scotland is a beautiful location. It's not always warm, but
Right.
I would say one thing. We are the friendliest nation in the world.
Oh, very friendly.
Definitely.
I can attest to that. I wonder if the whiskey has any connection with that.
It may be. we also put it in our food. You know, you can mix it and make some really nice meals with it. You know, a nice steak with a whiskey sauce and such like. As I said, I don't personally like it, but it's very, very popular. Very popular, yes.
Oh yeah, and you know one thing
A wee dram.
One thing I read about you, Chrissy, is you know you love food and wine, and I appreciate that so much. But I have to ask, do you? I don't know if this is the national food of Scotland or just a particular region or what. I don't even know if it is the national food. Maybe it's not, but that's what I think that it is. Do you like? Are you a connoisseur of haggis? You know what I was going to say.
Love it.
Really?
Love
okay.
it. Absolutely love it. And I tell you, I prefer to have the original haggis and the authentic haggis. I don't know who came up with the idea of a vegan haggis, but that is, you know, these people should just be eliminated. Why would you want to do that? Haggis is the offal of inside of a sheep or a cow, and it's wrapped up and cooked with the blood and the actual stomach lining. Now, I know that sounds absolutely horrendous. I get it. I understand that. But so does steak, so does liver, so does all the other beautiful things that you eat from an animal. But why put it to waste? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You mix it all together, you put oatmeal in with it. It is absolutely beautiful. My son goes out with a young lady from Venezuela, and she loves it because when she comes to stay here over a weekend, I will do what's called a full Scottish breakfast.
Oh,
Which will have bacon,
yes.
square sausage, black pudding, and haggis slice with beans and toast and egg, of course. And she adores it. I think it's like most things, don't think about what's in it, just enjoy it. But please, good grief, don't eat the vegetarian version or the vegan version. It's rotten. I can never understand why.
I think in America they would call that the impossible haggis. Impossible haggis.
It's beautiful. Maybe I'll send you a real one over.
Oh, I would try it.
Give me your address at the end of this. I'll send you
Absolutely.
a real one.
After the show, I would love to try.
There's actually a very good tinned version as well, which is lovely. But yes, enjoy it.
Oh, I would definitely try it.
With a bit of whiskey.
Oh yes, for sure. With a nip of whiskey or a bottle of whiskey, whatever it requires,
sure.
right? So this is Dr.
Yeah.
Mounts. If you're listening to All Things Unexplained, a top 25 science charts podcast nominated for People's Choice Podcast Award. We're speaking with Chrissie Heron this morning, author of Headaches and Hauntings. And Chrissie, I was lucky enough to try a fabulous Scottish food, at least here they say it's a Scottish delicacy, and I loved it. A Scottish egg.
Oh, Scotch egg, yes.
Yes, Scotch egg, yes.
That's a boiled egg encased in sausage meat. And then it's got all the breadcrumbs round about it. And you would either deep fry it, which I would do, or put it in the oven. If you have no time till you've eaten a Scotch egg, it's a meal in your hand, just a meal in your hand. Full boiled egg, encased in sausage meat, rubbed and encased in dressing. Oh, it's beautiful, deep fried. You don't know what you're missing over there.
Well, and you know what?
Superb.
It's breakfast time here, and this is making me seriously hungry. I would eat a Scotch egg for breakfast. But unfortunately, I think that there is one restaurant in the city nearest me that perhaps has Scotch eggs. That's it. That's the only place to get it.
All right.
I could never make it myself, but I first became fascinated with Scotch eggs. I saw Anthony Bourdain eating one on television.
Right.
And he just loved it and went on and on about it. And the way he described it, I thought, my goodness, how could you go wrong between an egg and sausage or bacon or whatever it was and fried? And I'm from the American deep south where we fry basically everything, right? And so
everything.
Yes, everything. And so I had finally got to have one. Incredible, Chrissie, incredible.
Yeah. It's almost like a corn dog with a boiled egg and sausage meat inside it.
Yes.
But better.
That's a great description. And I can't figure out why they don't have them. We have a lot of fairs here. I don't know if you have fairs in Scotland. But we have state fairs and local fairs and county fairs and things. And they're known for having lots of wacky deep fried products, right? Why somebody should have a Scotch egg on the fair circuit here.
Mm-hmm. We have a fair here, which is a cattle fair, because I live in a village that's pretty old. In its day, all it was fields, and it was the halfway point between Stirling and Edinburgh. So there's a big coach house here that's about 250-300 years old, and it's actually in my book because it's haunted. So I included it in the book, but we have, because the place is so old, we have what's called the cattle fair, which comes every season, every summer, and that's all the cows and gincana and the horse riding and the dog shows. Big following, but we have lots of stands there with lots of food to eat. Fish and chips is very popular here, but so is anything that's fried and it's Scottish. A rolling square sausage, or a rolling bacon, or the Scotch egg, very popular, or a sausage roll.
Oh,
which is the same kind of idea, but encrusted in pastry. No wonder we have such a bad health here in Scotland when you think how much rubbish we eat.
I saw someone on television
But
who was bold enough to make a sausage roll for Gordon Ramsay. Nobody else on the show had ever heard of a sausage roll. I'd never heard of a sausage roll, but Gordon Ramsay had heard of a sausage roll, and he loved it. He said it just took him back home.
yeah, because he's from Scotland. He was brought up about 15 miles from here.
Oh,
in
really?
a place called Johnston. It's not terribly far. But I tell you something else that we do. I don't like it, but it became very popular. Do you have a Mars bar, or it would be similar to a Snicker bar?
Yes.
We cover that in batter and we deep fry it. It's called a deep fried Mars bar. It started through in Edinburgh, and you would buy that with a portion of fries. It's very, very popular. But can you imagine how bad that is for your heart? Deep fried Mars bar.
Don't make that a daily
Only in Edinburgh.
thing right there. It sounds like Edinburgh and the American Fair has a lot in common. At least with the
Yes,
fair.
probably.
Yeah, you're only going to the fair like once a year. So I guess, for that one time, it can't hurt that bad, right?
No, but if there's this, they sell it all year round in the fish and chip shop, so you can have access to it all the time. I don't like it, but I do like a fish supper. I do like fish and chips. It's lovely.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love a good fish fry.
You've been listening to All Things Unexplained. If you liked this podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. If you would like to hear more All Things Unexplained, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Our show depends on the support of listeners like you. Find us on Venmo under the business accounts. Just look for @Bigfoot UFO. If you can't get enough of us, go ahead and check us out at allthings-unexplained.com. A special thanks to our producer, director, sound mixer, editor, and the man who wears far too many hats. No, seriously, he wears a lot of hats, Dr. Tim Mounts. Without you, we couldn't keep the lights on. Thanks for listening to All Things Unexplained.